Welcome back, everyone, to episode 19 of Pro Player Plays PGA Tour 2K21. It has been a hot minute since I recorded one of these episodes, and I was getting a little worried to record this one even now, but I'm just forcing myself to do it. I'm forcing myself to get an episode out there. So you might all be wondering what I've been up to this whole summer, and I am going to get into that later in this video. I played a whole summer of professional golf up on the Dakotas Tour, and I want to kind of share with you guys how my summer went and kind of what I did and where I've been for the last 4 months and why I didn't record any videos. I just kind of want to record this episode. It might not be the most polished thing in the world, but I want to get something out there. I really wanted to continue doing this during the summer, but as I'll explain later in the video, just a whole bunch of things kind of went against me. And then playing professional golf, I played for like 8 weeks in a row, and that really slowed down the progress on this course. But I hope I can get back into making videos. I really enjoyed making these, and I really, I want to set for goal for myself is to finish this course. And what's kind of a bummer is PGA 2K23 is coming out now in 2.5 months or whatever. It's like October 11th, I think the release date is. And that's going to make it really hard to finish this course. And you know what? We're just going to try and do our best. We're going to see how much we can get done. And if we don't finish the course, that's okay. I'm going to be totally okay with it. I just want to get back to making videos because I really had a lot of fun doing it. And I wish I'd done a better job of staying consistent during the summer. But hopefully we can get back on track. So the way I'm going to structure this episode in particular is I am going to do a lot of talking during the time lapses. I'm just going to film me building the holes. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I want to do on this hole, and then I'm going to go into the time lapses, and then I'm going to tell you guys kind of what I did this summer playing professionally, how that all went. I'm just going to go over kind of everything that's been happening with me, and hopefully you guys find it interesting. I had a fun summer playing golf, so yeah, let's just hop right into it. I'm just going to dive right in. I think we're going to just continue this planting style that I had on all these holes over here. And yeah, that's kind of the plan for this next hole. I think that it's going to be a very similar planting style, and I'm just going to get right into the time lapses and tell you how my summer went. So, you know what? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do this whole tee box area up to about in here. I think I just want to get all of this done, and yeah, I'm going to tell you kind of how my month of May went. So let's hop into this time lapse, and I'll tell you how my summer got started. So the start of my summer in about May was pretty crazy, and my plan was to continue doing videos, but I figured I had a chance to miss some because during the month of May, I had 3 weddings that I was a part of. I was in 3 different banquets, I want to say, and those were just university related where I went to school. And then I went on a trip to Hawaii at the end of the month, and so it was a pretty crazy time, and I had a feeling I was going to miss some videos there in May, and I was fine with it because my plan was I live in Georgia most of the year, but I go back home to my home state of Iowa during the summer to play professional golf because 1, the weather is a million times better during the summer, but then also 2, there's a good tour up there called the Dakotas Tour, and without getting into the nitty-gritty details of professional golf, it's a really good spot to make money, and I prefer that route over the PGA Tour Canada or PGA Tour Latin America route. And so I chose to play all of my events up in the Dakotas this summer, so it only made sense to go back to Iowa. And my plan was once I got back to Iowa, I would start recording videos again, and that was kind of my plan for during tournaments because I was on the road 8 weeks in a row, I want to say 7 or 8 weeks in a row. And my plan was to record videos while I was at hotels or staying at host houses, and it just never really materialized. And part of it was I missed the whole month of May due to going and doing all these weddings and events, but then afterwards going to Hawaii, and then I came back from Hawaii and immediately got COVID on top of going to Hawaii. So basically at that point it had been a month and a half, and I'd been wiped out from COVID, and then I was just going into tournaments. So what ended up happening is my recording schedule got pretty much just destroyed. And just when I was at tournaments, I really struggled to find the time and energy to record, And I think I maybe would have been a little bit better served to record the videos if I had been consistent through the month of May. But I had felt like it had been so long since I recorded an episode that mustering the effort to record another one just was something I didn't feel compelled to do during my time out on the Dakotas tour. So with all that being said, yeah, I'm happy that I'm back, and I'm happy that I'm getting ready to play coming up here. I've got Q School coming up on September 13th through the 16th. I'm getting ready for that, and I've got a couple other tournaments that I'm playing and getting ready for that. But it's nice to be back. The other main critical thing that I forgot to mention here was I have a 2-monitor setup at home. I have really great internet here in Georgia, that is, and I didn't have that on the road with me, so it was really tough from that standpoint too, to just have, all I have is a gaming laptop. That's all that I record on, so it's nice to be back in a full setup. And like I said, I really enjoy making these videos. It's a super nice thing to be able to just relax from playing golf and come back home and record these videos and play this game. So I really enjoy it, and I'm happy that I'm able to be back and making some more videos. So next, I'll get into the stuff I know you've been waiting for, which is how my summer went. How are my results? Yeah, so I'll show you here in a sec. Well, we finished up most of this tee shot. There's a couple things I'll probably change, but we got most of it done. So now we can start moving on to the second shot here. And I think the first thing that I want to do is get the tree line in on this hole. And we're gonna really focus on this right side. The main thing we want to get is I want to be able to see that big bunker out there that you can kind of see in the middle of the screen right there. I really want to be able to see that from the tee, and I don't want to obstruct that view at all. So I want us to be able to see this fairway and then look over to the right. And I'm actually going to experiment with something on this hole where, because for most of the courses you can see there's a bit of bunker between the fairway and the tree lines, and it's on pretty much every hole there is bunker, and the rough doesn't meet up with the tree line. As you can see here, there's a little space there. There's a little space on this hole over here, and I want to experiment with getting the tree line right up against the fairway. So what I might do in this time lapse is move this fairway over just a little bit and then get the tree line to be pretty straight along this side of the hole. So that's kind of the object over there. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about was this massive area, basically left of hole 9, left of hole 8, and to the left of hole 1. It's kind of this triangle shape, and this is what I had envisioned for the driving range. And I wanted to spend an episode like designing my dream driving range, and I thought that'd be a really cool episode. That will be in a later video because we're just working on hole 8 today, but I want to go ahead and I want to set out the parameters of how big this area is going to be. So this will kind of be, the clubhouse will be in here somewhere, and then you drive over here to the driving range, and you'd have about, I'd like it to be a 2-sided driving range. So there's a side for, if you're getting ready for your round, you can hit on this side over here. And then if you are done with your round, or you're working with a swing instructor or something like that, this would be the back side of the range. So 360 yards is more than enough room, I think, to have this be the one side of the range and this be the other side of the range. And then from here on over, I'd like it to be a pretty wide range. So 225 yards, that's a pretty solid area for where this range is going to be. And then I think I want to put some like course maintenance stuff back here. Maybe with like a shed, maybe with, you know, some mowers, just to give that element of realism that you'd want to see on a golf course like this. And it would just kind of complete the look. You wouldn't really see it off this tee. I intentionally blocked it over there so that you wouldn't see it. But I think just having it there really does a lot to make this course feel like a place that actually exists. So that's kind of the plan. This will be the maintenance area. This will be the driving range. And I'm going to get in now, and I'm going to plant the tree lines up here. And while I do plant these tree lines, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the tournaments that I played this summer and how I played and what went well, what didn't go well, and yeah, just generally how the summer went. So yeah, let's get into it. So let's get into some of my stats from the summer here. These are going to be all of the numbers that I've collected over the course of the summer. And the first page I'm going to show you here is just all of my scores kind of rowed together like this. I use an app called the Decade app, And what it is, it's an app, it's a system created by Scott Fawcett, and essentially it uses statistics and the strokes gained statistic found by Mark Brody to determine where you should be aiming shots and how you should manage your golf game on the course. That's a very vague definition of what it is, but I highly recommend if you're looking to shave shots off of your game or to understand how professionals think about how to play golf on the golf course, I can't recommend the Decade app enough. But that's the system that I use to put in all of my stats. So I'm just going to kind of show you my stats page. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. I don't want to get hung up explaining every single stat and everything like that, but I'll just give my 2 cents worth on a couple stats that I think are kind of important, or things that I want to work on, or things that I'm really happy with. So these are all my rounds. Let's go over to the scoring average page now. And you can see I had a 67.57 average. I set a goal for myself this summer of 68.1 or below, and I was able to hit that. I thought it was a bit of a stretch goal, but I really wanted to challenge myself. And I don't always recommend having results-oriented goals, but I just felt like this was one that I could really strive for, and I still wanted to focus on my process to achieve that. But at the end of the summer, if I could see below 68.1, I'd be happy, and I did, so I'm very happy with that stat. Moving on, let's go over to the approach category, and you can see that my total greens in regulation was only 74.87%, and that red X over there means that I'm outside of what a typical 68 or below average player. I'm below the amount of total greens in regulation percentage from all of those different categories. But if you go down a little bit further in this approach section here, you'll see a stat called strokes gained approach per round, and that was 1.56, and that's a really good strokes gained approach per round. I think what it's more of a reflection of is I kind of struggle with the tee ball, as you'll see here in a little bit, and the reason that the strokes gained is so high is because from recovery situations, I was very good about getting myself back into play, giving myself birdie opportunities from the trees, giving myself a very good chance of saving par most of the time. So overall, I think my approach stat is very, very good, and yeah, I'm looking to definitely continue that as I get going into Q school here. Let's now move over to this this page that is discipline and short game. I'll leave the discipline category. I'd like to see that mental scorecard number go up to about 95%. It means on 91% of shots, I'm fully focused, and on about 8.5% of shots, I'm either distracted in some way or not fully committed. And I track that stat very aggressively. Like if I'm distracted in any way, I count it as an X, and it goes against that percentage. So I'd like to get that number up to 95%. It's a little bit lower than where I'd like it to be, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. Golf is a hard game to stay focused for every single shot of every single round. So I'm pretty happy, but I'd like to improve that stat a little bit more, especially as we're getting closer to Q school, where those little fractions of shots will definitely add up. Looking through that short game, my save percentage was 69.48%. My short game was really good this summer. That definitely helped my results a lot. I don't know if I've already said this, but I had a 9th, an 8th, a 3rd, and 3 seconds this summer. So 6 top 10s, 4 top 5s. I had a very good summer, and my short game was definitely a big part of why I was able to have the results I had. 69.48 is a really phenomenal save percentage, and I'm really happy with that, and definitely looking to continue that as we go through Q school here. Let's go over to strokes gained putting. I had a very good putting summer, especially at the end in my last 4 or 5 tournaments, because in the first couple of events I had really poor putting performances that really cost me a lot. So from where I was at the beginning of the summer to end with a positive strokes gained putting stat is really, really good. And I'm typically a very good putter, so I was really struggling early on in the summer, and I made a couple changes in my game, and I was able to get that all the way to positive 0.54 strokes gained putting. And you can see my make percentages are really good, and my 3-putt avoidance 1.34%. That's also a really good stat. I'm really happy with the way I'm putting it, and I've been trending upwards recently, so looking to continue that going through Q school. So let's go into the final stat here. It's tee shots, and you'll see this is the area I struggled with this summer. It was 44%. 44% fairways, that is. That is not very good. We can definitely improve that. I've been starting to hit the ball a little bit better off the tee, but it's an area that I'm really working hard on, it's typically been this summer, if my ball has been in play, I've been playing pretty well. And it's when the tee shots get a little bit errant, that's when I've had to struggle and I've had to scrap it around. If I can get the tee ball in play, I've been playing pretty well. And yeah, that's pretty much how my summer went. I had a very good summer. I'm really happy with the results I had. A lot of really high finishes, and just looking to continue that momentum as we go into Q School here. Hope you found that interesting. Let me know if you had any questions about what I talked about during this. I kind of sped through a lot of these stats because there were a lot of them there, but I just wanted to show kind of a comprehensive report on how my summer went, and it'll be kind of fun to go back and look at this maybe later on. And it was a pretty sweet summer golf, and yeah, looking forward to continue this good play going into the fall. Just like that, we got a bunch of the trees done, and we pretty much have the tree line completely finished over here. And off camera, I cut the time lapse a little bit short because, I mean, I just did a lot of planting. It's not the most exciting stuff doing all this underbrush work here with these little bushes. And I'm pretty happy with where these bushes are going to be, because when I go back in after the whole course is completed and I go into my settings, and I'll just show you right here, you can go into terrain and see I have excess trees on none. That's why I have these giant blank areas. When I turn this up to many, it's going to really fill in this back section here, and it doesn't go towards your object percent meter, which is really what I'm after. I'm trying to avoid planting as many objects as I can at this point, just trying to conserve meter for the end of the course. So once I do that, it really fills that in. It makes it feel like the wooded area that it's supposed to be. So there are going to be some splotches here where the sun is getting through and everything like that before I put all these trees in, but that's okay because they will be covered up once I do this. But I'm just keeping it on none for now, just so I can kind of see the terrain a little bit better and I can kind of feel where the holes need to flow. So I'm pretty happy with how this came out. I haven't touched this left side yet because I still have some planting I want to do over here. And then I'll go through and I'll fill in the rest of the underbrush here. And then this hole is going to be pretty close to completion here. I'm trying to just finish up the planting here, and I think this hole is looking pretty good, to be honest. It's a down, the sun is going away from us here, so it's going to be pretty tough to make this hole pop. And you know what? That's okay, because this hole, I think, plays pretty well on its own. I think it has an interesting green, and I really do like the layout of the hole. And I do kind of like this area where it's not waste bunker. It's kind of just negative space. And it doesn't take your eye away from the green area, which is where we want everybody to be focusing their attention to anyway. We left out in the sun, so I think this hole is going to turn out really good. I'm really excited to finish this up and get the planting done here, and we can call this hole done and dusted after only 4.5 months. That's pretty good pace, I think. So yeah, let's just get into it and let's get this all planted out. So yeah, getting ready for Q School here. I want to first talk about a little bit kind of my schedule here with creating videos. I thought about it a little bit, and I think I'm just going to keep making videos as long as I still have the energy to do it, and I hope to get a lot of the holes done. I definitely want to finish this front 9. That will definitely be completed before the end of the year here, but depending on how Q School goes, we'll see what happens. It's just a good way to take my mind off of golf and think about things other than Q School coming up and a lot of the pressure associated with that. So that's definitely the plan on that side of it. I think I might add in a couple of streams too. So if you guys are interested in watching a stream of mine or something like that, let me know down in the comments, because I definitely want to do a couple of live things and see how that affects kind of the recording process, and maybe not necessarily the recording process, but just the engagement with you guys who like to watch my videos, because I'm aware that maybe a little bit of the element you would want to watch me is for the fact that I play golf. So yeah, I think it'd be fun to kind of engage with you guys and maybe answer a few questions about just playing golf and not just designing courses and stuff like that, but then also a discussion on good golf courses and some of my favorite holes. I think that could be fun doing it live. So let me know if you're interested in me doing a live stream, because I think that could be a lot of fun. But as for my schedule going forward here, I'm really, I got one more tournament coming up. It's just a mini tour event getting ready for Q School, and then Q School I'm doing first stage at Irish Creek, which is in North Carolina. And it's a course I've played a lot. I've probably played almost 20 tournament rounds there. So I have a lot of experience on this golf course, and knock on wood, I've been able to make it through first stage there every time that I've played it. So I figure, why change a winning formula? Just keep going the momentum that I have at Irish Creek. And yeah, that'll be my first stage site, and then we'll see where I go for second stage once I make it through. Planning on making it through, and yeah, that's really the schedule coming up. So I'm really excited to be into the meat of my schedule, into the meat of my year, and yeah, hoping to get that Korn Ferry Tour status. And even this year, well, I think it's this year actually. I'm not 100% sure. I think that the top 5 at Q School get PGA Tour status this year. You'd think as somebody who'd signed up for Q School that I would know that, but I don't actually know if that's coming this year or if that's in a future year. But I know that that is a change on the horizon. But regardless, I'm just out there to play. If I play good golf, everything else will take care of itself. So, yeah, that's pretty much my future going forward. And just like that, we have essentially finished hole number 8 here. And I am really happy with how this hole turned out. We have a lot of this planting done. It's not completely done because, like I said, this hole is going to be complete, so it'll kind of help that through line going past this clubhouse here. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. I felt this was a great building to put here on the range because, like I said earlier, this is going to be kind of where, you know, maybe a swing instructor or some kind of winter hitting bay would be. And you could take a cart ride along a path over to here, go around the range, and get back to this little area where these hitting bays would open up. And that's really common at really nice courses, is to have these hitting bays that are heated, and you can put a bunch of machinery like TrackMan or Flight Scope in there, and you can really get a good indoor hitting session done in one of these places. So I really liked this building in particular. It felt like it had the correct amount of bays. You know, you'd have 1, 2 here, maybe a third one over here. And it had a good backside to it as well. So I really like that building, and I like being able to see it through the trees to where this is something that makes this course kind of come alive. And yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that building being there, and the range being filled out I think is really going to help the look of this hole as well. I didn't want to finish everything over here because I think I'm going to put a couple putting greens over here kind of for this back section of the tee box. So there's just a bunch of work to do over on this side. But as a whole, this 8th hole is looking really good, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Yeah, I'm not going to show as much of the time-lapse process in this episode, just because I kind of want to get back into it, and I want to get a finished episode out to you guys. And I also wanted to talk about a whole bunch of other things, which is what I kind of ended up doing during the time-lapses, was telling you how my summer went. So I really hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about this format. What you thought about some of the stuff I said during the recap of my summer. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.